My topic is empowering tribal women through SHGS in Pamudia block of Mohanpur subdivision, West Tripura. It's a case study, and this co-authored with Dr. Manipropal Dapnath and Dr. Shamishta Jabarwati. So we all see that all over the world, there is a realization that the best way to tackle poverty and enable a community to improve its quality of life is through social mobilization of the poor, especially women into self-help groups. Ever since independence, a number of innovative schemes have been launched for the upliftment of women in our country. And Indian government also after independence, they have been taking lots of innovative schemes to strengthen the for the development of the country. And one such approach adopted by the government of India is self-help group through up to uplift the rural women. So can you please change the slide? So we see that self-help group have emerged as one of the most appropriate empowering strategies for empowerment of women. And not only that, the empowerment of women through self-help groups would also lead to the benefit not only to individual women, but women groups, also families and community as a whole through the collective action of development. Our our paper objectives are as follows. Three objectives we have chosen to see the role of SHGs in making the tribal women economically self-reliant, and also to identify to analyze the impact of how this self-reliance can bring a change in the role status of women. And the third one is to understand or to how the association of women in SGC based on horticulture, helps in maintaining the environment, basically constructing a larger space for ecofeminism. Methodology followed is it's a case study where we find that we have taken survey on not survey sorry interviewed 50 tribal women by in four different villages of Omodia this block, and under that the four SHGs were chosen. Now coming to findings. Yes. So we have purposefully chosen the five SHGs where we found that majority of the respondents were engaged in horticultural activities. And in regard to our first objective, we found that all respondents were actually utilizing their skills that they have informally learned. That is, from their families, from the community, the skill which have been passed on from one generation to another generation. So this means that they were not only equipped, they're not only transmitting or disseminating their old heritage, culture, and ways of cultivation. So they are not letting it go into waste. Secondly, we found that the women that we have, interviewed, we find that they have got no formal education. We did not go for any age group. We just simply interviewed women who were married, and we find that there was no formal education, and they were not fit to apply in any jobs or any kind of earning through which involves formal education. So we find that their means of involvement, their involvement in the SHGs were either a means of livelihood or for some it was to secure economic independence by self-earning. Then we find that with the involvement of SHGs, we find that they need not. One of the advantage that we have observed is that they need not go to some other, villages or town or city in search of jobs or such thing. In fact, by staying in their own house and doing the cultivation, we find that it enables them to save more money and simultaneously also to engage in the household work activities. Then, pretending to the second objective, we find that indeed the tribal women working in the SHEs feel a sense of independence, which they do not feel working as a domestic helper or working as landless farmers in somebody else's field. The feeling of not being bonded has also given them a much needed confidence, and they feel more liberated as a woman. And their involvement in SGS have also taken them to a level where they feel better represented and their voice have heard. And even some of them have, told that in the household, how the role, the status are taking changes are taking place in the sense that they are more confident, and then now their opinion in the household in regard to their children especially, their voices are heard, their decisions, and they have the right to choose, and they enjoy such kind of freedom which was not existing before. Then most importantly, we see that their involvement in this SHGs is helping them to challenge their year-long patriarchal conditioning, and there is visibility. We see a huge change in mindset as they want other women also to join them. Lastly, in regard to how women is, the role of women in maintaining the environment could also be seen by, their direct activity in horticulture. Number one is we find that in terms of, clearing the land. Yes, definitely, 40 of them have answered that after clearing the land, they were burning it, which is, we could say, a less optimal in terms of environmental effect. But we saw that they were using manual they were handling the weeds, cutting the weeds manually. Even in terms of harvesting also, they were harvesting it manually by pulling the plants. And they did have started to use fertilizer, which also indicates a less optimal towards saving the environment. But soil processing also, they were using conventional tillage system, and they were also aware of, since they were aware of the planting cycle, therefore there was less needed of using fertilizer or pest resistance chemicals. So therefore, I would like to conclude that women participation in self-help groups have obviously created tremendous impact upon the life pattern and style of poor women, tribal women, and they have been empowered, and there is indeed a great change in their status and role in among their family members and in the society and community as a whole. And the women working in SHC also feel that they can be assertive of their identity through their work, as it enables them to engage more creatively. The women feel creatively involved, which boosts the spirit to perform outside their home. And in terms of environment, we see that education and knowledge about environment can be easily instilled among the children by their mother at the early age, which when environmental friendly lifestyle are instilled at a young age, the children will get used to it, and they will they will be protecting their environment. They will be aware to protect the environment from an early age, which we find that we conclude that women have a strategic role to protect and preserve the environment as well. Conclude. I think you finish.
So, I like to, this paper is open for discussion. And please participate, other participants, one or two questions you can ask. Or if you have any doubt or queries, you can ask now only. 2 minutes are there for discussion.
I have a question.
Yes, yes, please.
Uh, like how I didn't see the relationship of ecofeminism in your findings. So how did you or how you're intending to? This is first, and makes this that one comment I would like to give you, or one like when you talk about this their opinions is being heard, it is now being conceptualized. Not now, it is being conceptualized way back. The
It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, when you talked about how the voices are being heard, that is being conceptualized. Now, that is being conceptualized by Amartya Sen, which you can put it in your reference. Like that is how the bargaining capacity of women increases within the household. That is known as bargaining capacity. So maybe you can add it to enrich your work. And one more thing I wanted to know is that one, like how, which aspect of ecofeminism would you like to add?
Ma'am, actually, women have an instinct, environmental instinct through their daily activities. So here we can see that this kind of demonstration where they, in their workings itself, like the first topic was about how the working system was has been, from the way back ages, how their cultivation, everything is from the traditional type of cultivation. So where we see that they are not using any machines or any other things, they are using more uh, environment friendly methods of cultivation in horticulture. So we find that this supports the theory of ecofeminism, which states that women are closely related to ecology and women have a special instinct for environmental through their daily activities.
Maybe you can add the word sustainability, because that is traditional sustainability, nurturing, caring, which are conceptualized already. So which will really enhance your work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Professor Bhumi, for engagement of the article. So I have just one query about this SCG in Bangladesh. Have you studied the background when these SCGs were introduced in this area?
No, we were focusing mostly on the
Social impact of SCGs.
the women, the tribal women, how does she have an impact?
I actually just wanted to trace the origin of this SCG group in Tripura as a whole. So in Bangladesh, when it was introduced in the SCG idea. Actually, this background we have always to remember about the historical background of SCG in the history of our state only. So far as I know, so Adivasi Mobilization was the first of this NGO who introduced this system at 1963 4 at Sikarabari and others about this livelihood mission. So while introducing they were talking just little background, historical background of SHG. And whether my another query were there about this SHG was financed by some bank. And did they face any problem from bank sector? Have you any question about that?
But they were not so much aware of the microfinancing. They were not having so much knowledge on banking.
So how they are learning?
So they were learning and doing.
They are learning.
They're learning and doing.
They are financed by government or not?
That we did not go into detail on banking. We were just focusing how it have a social
Okay.
effect.
You work, and I think you will more collection of data is needed for.
Yes, it is pilot study.
But I appreciate not only you, all the paper setters and paper presenters today in a very short notice they have to present this one. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, Aurobindo, may I call Srimati Priti Kumari, second paper presenter? You please, you take 5 minutes, huh? And 2 minutes will be discussion.
স্যার এই ল্যাপটপটা ডিস্টার্ব করছে একটু
If it is not ready, other presentation.
No, no, PPT is ready.
ল্যাপটপ is not functioning properly sir it will be
Yes.
ওটা দিয়ে না না
হ্যাঁ স্যার দিয়ে দিচ্ছি এটা
তোমারটা কাছে না করে দাও না।
হ্যাঁ স্যার এখন হবে
ওই পিপিটি আছে না?
ম্যাডাম হবে
পেন ড্রাইভ বার করতে হবে, তাই তো? পিপিটি কে দেখো।
दूसरा जो रेडी है वो तो दो ना.
তা না একটা ল্যাপটপে গন্ডগোল করছে।
আমরা নেক্সট
স্যার হয়ে গেছে একটা মিনিট
तो कौन सा करती है?
স্যার মেশিনটা তো প্রবলেম
मेशिन प्रॉब्लम काफी तो रहा है. तो रहा है.
What I tell you the main points within 5 minutes. After that, 2 minutes discussion. Professor Bhumi,
Yeah, you can start I think. Madam, এমনি যদি দিতে পারে.
Start.
Good morning, ma'am, and all of you. Myself, Preeti Kumari. Today I am going to present very useful topic, that is education and perceived employability of the women in the context of Tripura. We know that overall development of a society depends on the development of its total members. But if half of its members are left behind, obviously it will create hindrance to the development. Education is the only and surefire way for the development of a woman. After independence, many steps have been taken by the government to educate women, such as Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, National Scheme of Incentive to Girls for Secondary Education, CBSE Udan Scheme etc. Due to this incentive, female literacy has been increased from 39.29%, which is in 1991, to 65.46% in 2011. On the other hand, perceived equality is another factor that play a very important role in the empowerment of women because it is a perception about own ability to find employment. Employment is the only means to improve the economic condition of women. Perceived employability is not only related to employment, career success, but also related to better health and well-being. These two factors, education and perceived employability, provides inner motivation and support to women and also helps her to fight and overcome difficult situations. Therefore, it is important to know status of education and perceived employability of women. Main objective of the study is to analyze the status of education of women in Tripura. To analyze the status of, and second objective is to analyze the status of perceived employability of women in Tripura. Methodology of the study. The descriptive research method is used in the present investigation. For the first objective, data were collected through secondary sources, and for the second objective, data were collected from 350 students, in which 140 students are female and 210 are male, which was admitted in the different professional courses such as MBA, MCA, and MTech from different university of Tripura, such as Tripura University, NIT Tripura, and ICFA University. Perceivability scale by KP Nachimuthu was used as a tool for the collection of data. Data are analyzed through percentage, t-test, and explained through table and chart. Findings of the study. We, in this education rate of women was 64.91 in 2001, which had increased to 83.15% in 2011 in Tripura. According to Literacy Assessment Survey in 2016 conducted by Government of Tripura, found female literacy is 96.79%, and also found that huge reduction in gender gap in literacy rate. The gender gap in literacy rate, which was 16.11% in 2001, has decreased to 9.03% in 2011. Another fact is Tripura state comes on fourth position on the basis of female literacy rate and seventh position on the basis of gender gap in literacy rate in all over India. Other findings show that gross enrollment ratio of female in 2020 in different level of education. In the primary level, gross enrollment ratio was 118.7. In upper primary level, it was 95.6. Secondary level, it was 92.6. And higher secondary level, it was 41.9. And then higher education, it was 18. We can also notice that with the increase in the level of education, the gross enrollment ratio is decreasing. And on the basis of dropout rate, higher secondary level, it was found that very high dropout rate in Tripura. And on the basis of gross enrollment ratio in higher education, Tripura ranking is 31 in all over India. Another objective, we can see that perceived employability of female students in Tripura, 29.29% students have low perceived employability, 25.71% students have below average perceived employability, 22.86% female students have average perceived employability, whereas only 2.86% female students have high perceived employability, and only 0.71% have extremely high perceived employability. In the comparison of perceived employability of male and female students, it was found that male have high perceived employability than female. It was also found significant at 0.101 level through t-test. Conclusion of the study. In Tripura, for the last few years, there has been a huge increase in the literacy rate of women, as well as the gender gap in literacy has also decreased. Female gross enrollment ratio is also very good, up to class 10th compared to many other states, but it is far behind in terms of higher education. One of the reasons for the lower gross enrollment ratio of in higher education is the higher drop rate out of girls at the secondary level. Rustogi in 2004 often that the main reason of high dropout rate at secondary level are the use of girls in sibling care and additional hands for helping mothers in the household, farm and off-farm work and so on. It reduced the availability of formal education for them and very few girls reach higher level of education. On another side, it is matter of concern that women perceive mobility rate is not good even after getting higher education. There can be many reasons for this, such as availability of employment, lack of skill and knowledge, lack of self-confidence, family and social boundaries, geographical boundaries, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Preeti. But what about your last section, employability of women?
Yes, ma'am.
Are not there any slide about this?
No, ma'am. Last slide.
Especially in the organized sector. What are the
No, ma'am.
percentages?
Students from professional courses in Tripura, Tripura University, NIT University, and IFA University. I have collected data.
No table is there for
Yes,
them?
ma'am. I have last.
Okay, I have not seen. Okay.
Can I?
Yes, please.
Um, I think the study would be more enriched if you look the enrollment of students according to disciplines
Yes, ma'am.
and also according to subjects. Because it is seen that the proportion of women in higher education has gone up high. But if you look on the basis of technical education and the traditional and the convention discipline, women are more.
Yes, ma'am. And I also found that Tripura ranks in all over India in 31. In the gross enrollment ratio in higher education.
So maybe if you do a finer tune or if you can go in depth, it will be very interesting. And also the relative gender gaps. Like what is the growth rate of male literacy rate and what's the gap between male and female? So what is it? Because male are also getting more educated, but what is the gap between the relative difference? That we add one more line.
And employment question is also
Yeah,
like that.
employability,
Employability. Because
skill,
drastically decreased in the case of organized sector.
yeah.
Drastic alarming.
Yeah. And maybe you
So
can
what is the
relate,
picture in Tripura?
yeah, and you can relate it with NEP because NEP is talking about
National
skill, yeah, the new NEP, how, because it will come out very well if you can give some suggestions.
Okay, ma'am. I will think.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone, please.
Ma'am, I don't have any question, just a query. In methodological section, you have written, you have chosen 2:3 proportion of female and male. Can you please explain why?
On the availability of female students in the higher professional courses, very few students enrolled in Tripura. I have got very few students in Tripura. So I have taken
That's why you
female
have chosen 2:3.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, without wasting time, I'd like to invite one of our faculty members in the Department of Psychology, Dr. Ranjana Mukherjee. And her topic is pregnancy and mental health of women, the quest for Millennium Development Goals.
Good morning, the respected Chulita ma'am in the chair, the delegates from Assam madam and the other paper presenter, my dear students over here. The title of my presentation is Pregnancy and Mental Health of Women, the Quest for Millennium Development Goals. You may ask me why there are so many areas why I have chosen this pregnancy, because it's a very important period of time in the life of women, and it's a time of enjoyment and fulfillment for women. But however, there are some women who face a different type of mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and stress during this period of very important period of their life. And many studies have shown that if mother during pregnancy are having any mental health issues like depression and anxiety, that actually has a long-term effect not only on their mental health and well-being but also on their children health. Particularly, the children become more prone to anxiety, language delay, ADHD, and other cognitive and mental health problems. So it's very important that we must screen the mothers during pregnancy. The screening should be on the mental health aspect. Apart from only the physical health screening, there should be mental health screening also. But despite this outcry, there unfortunately till in our country there is no such provision for maternal, antenatal, mental health checkup during this antenatal as well as postnatal period. Moreover, in spite of the seriousness of the issue, that is a very important part when we talk about development of women, when we talk about role of women in the development of any particular area, that there are very less research we find on this northeastern state regarding maternal mental health in general and in particular in Tripura. So in this backdrop, the present research article is an attempt to examine the mental health status of tribal pregnant women of Tripura, and this is a part of my research work funded by Women Studies Center, Tripura University. Main objective of this paper is to compare first and third trimester. There are three trimesters during the pregnancy period. So the paper attempts to compare first and third trimester pregnant women with respect to their self-concept and level of depression, and also to examine where there is any impact of age in education on the maternal mental health status. The study was carried out on 200 tribal women, and they were in the age group of 20 to 25 years, and they have been selected purposely from different hospitals as well as private chambers of gynecologists of West Tripura district. And for data collection, a basic information schedule was prepared. And for ascertaining mental health status, self-concept scale and depressive inventory was used. And data has been collected through face-to-face interview technique from the study subjects. Findings, so far their socioeconomic profile is concerned, findings show that most of the women belongs to the age group of 21 to 25 years. They were Hindu by religion, mostly they were from rural areas. Among the tribal communities, mostly they are from Tripuri communities. They studied up to graduation, only 12.20% were postgraduate pregnant women, and mostly they were housewife. And among those who were employed, they used to earn less than rupees 20,000 per month. Now coming to the maternal mental health status, that is the main objective, the level of depression. Basically, when we talk about mental health issues, depression is such an issue which basically affects the mothers a lot, not during her pregnancy, but also after pregnancy, after giving the childbirth, which is known as postnatal depression or postpartum depression. So the study shows the prevalence rate of depression among pregnant tribal pregnant women of Tripura, which shows about 29.50%. So this is very alarming. Among those 29.50 percentage, only 12.50% pregnant women were reported mild depression, whereas the rest, around 27% were having moderate to severe depression. So again, I must say that this is very much alarming. So what was the probable causes? When I interviewed to the women, the most of the probable causes why they feel depressed was unplanned pregnancy, poor financial condition, non-supportive or abusive partner, not adequate family support, fear of miscarriage, a drastic change in the lifestyle, including their concept regarding their self, and expectation of boy child. So these are the probable reasons reported by the pregnant women that why they feel stressed and depressed during their period of pregnancy. So now coming to the second objective, that comparison between first and trimester pregnant women. The study revealed that the third trimester pregnant women are having high self-concept and low depression in comparison to their first trimester pregnant women, and they differ significantly at zero point zero 0.01 level of significance. And in regard to impact of age and education on the mental health status of pregnant women, the study could not reveal any significant impact of age. That means whatever the age of the mother is, they may have this tendency to have feel depressed during the period. However, interestingly, education has a significant impact on the self-concept and level of depression of pregnant women. So, in conclusion, it may be said that third trimester pregnant women causes high self-concept. That means they have a positive self-concept about their self, and they have low level of depression in comparison to pregnant women who are in their first trimester. And similarly, educated women had high self-concept and low depression than their counterparts. However, the study could not reveal any impact of age on the mental health status of the tribal pregnant women. Now, coming to the suggestions. Why suggestions? Because we are in a stage of advocacy and policy making part. So on the basis of the findings and keeping in mind the importance of the issue that is on the maternal mental health, some suggestions have been given over here. It is felt that the research basically throughout the research it was felt that it is absolutely necessary to take immediate action to address mental health of women during both prenatal and postnatal period to improve maternal child health as well as to decrease the mortality rate of mother and child, which is a very important millennium goals. In the year 2000, 189 countries have taken the oath of this some development index, but it's so and they were basically taking that by the year 2015 they will achieve the goals. But now we are in 2022, till we are far behind of achieving maternal health. Diagnosis of antenatal depression is very important because high prevalence we have already seen, and for that, the multiple screening is necessary during the stages of pregnancy. Not only single time screening is sufficient, multiple screening is necessary. Family member has to be sensitized, not only physical take care of the pregnant woman, but also provide emotional care to the pregnant woman. Education has found to be significantly affected the level of depression and self-concept. So education and vocational training should be provided to the women, which will in turn help them to boost up their self-concept. And more social support, which includes emotional support, instrumental support, as informational support, which is very much lacking in our society, should be provided to the women for their proper care during this period. Finally, I must say that there is a myth regarding that during the pregnancy period, women has these hormonal changes. So that hormones basically protect them from the mental health, crisis. But that is a myth and misconception. So more and more awareness programs should be organized on maternal mental health to eradicate this type of myths and misconception. So last but not the least, maternal mental health needs to be integrated in the health policies and strategies to achieve Millennium Development Goals. With this, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Now the discussion is open for
I
discussion.
again have few questions.
Yeah, please, ma'am.
I don't know, I can't stop myself.
No, please.
Yeah. Why Millennium Development Goal and why not Sustainable Development Goal? Because now we are talking about sustainability.
Sustainable, yes.
One is that one, and next one is that did you look into the happy feelings? Because that also contributes to mental health, and maybe that can be enhanced.
That's
The
case.
third is that what about the infrastructure for mental health? Because if we look at the state report, it's very poor.
It's very cool, right.
So maybe those can come as suggestions, because there you have proper
Exactly, I was also thinking of that
hospitals,
aspect.
yeah.
Whether state facilities are there, infrastructure.
and ratio of patient to uh, healthcare people, because caregivers are very
Very
essential.
less, yes. So coming, I'm just giving the
There are few
answer.
reports which you can refer,
Yeah,
where
I'm
Tripura
just
is also there.
Yes, I'm just giving your third question first because both of you have asked. Basically, when I say that social support, there are three types of social support we can provide to any person. One is instrumental support, that is institutional support, emotional support, and informational support. So all these three supports are very much lacking, not only in Tripura, not only in Northeast, but
India.
yeah, in India itself. When we talk about specifically maternal mental health, if you go to any hospitals of Tripura, you will find that there are lots of screening centers. Even the pregnant mother, if they go, there are HIV screening and other things. For adolescent mother, there are certain, but there is no screening for whether you are feeling sad, you are having any psychological issues, or even you are feeling extremely happy during this moment at what you have suggested. So there is no such support system available in Tripura. So I have suggested here that it should be part of policy. This is
Emphasize
number one.
those.
Yeah, I have
These are
emphasized this.
workable.
Yes. And number two is that when we talk about happy feeling and those, yes, as I said that it's the part of my research work. This is a small part which I have taken from the entire research work. There we have seen some of the other areas like quality of marital life, whether the quality of life, whether that is marital life or family life as a whole, has any impact on the overall mental health status, and has that the women are perceiving quality of their life during that pregnant period or not. So that is there, but I could not, put everything in this paper. So this is the second one, and first one, ma'am.
Why not sustainable?
Yeah, sustainable development. Yes, because we know that we are talking about sustainable development. But while I was preparing this paper, I was just going through that development of women and all these issues. then I find that basically this is my learning during this preparation of this paper, that there was a Millennium Development Goal also, which has been taken 22 years back, and the whole world was committed to achieve this by 2015. But still, we are in search of that. We are
From 15, now 15 to 30
extended, yes.
sustainable development.
That date has been extended for, and concept has been changed to sustainable development. But the why I have put this title as quest, that we are still hunting for that. We are still lag behind of achieving the goals which we have set 20 years back. So that was my interest to put that this is not a part of only what I am discussing, but this is the part where the 189 countries has felt that this has to be emphasized to prevent maternal and child mortality and morbidity
Okay, thank
rates.
you.
So that was my
You can
logic.
link it with sustainable goal.
Yeah, ma'am.
With goal
So,
5.
we can proceed to next speaker,
Thank you.
Dr. Achia Begum, Academic Counselor, NTB University. Status of women and Swami Vivekananda. Give you 5 minutes to talk to you.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving me chance to present my paper. And good morning, everyone. My name is Achia Begum, and the title of my paper is The Status of Women and Swami Vivekananda. So my paper is completely, can be said, philosophical or yeah. So, no one is perfect in this world, neither man nor woman. Beside all imperfection, each person has their own specific unique qualities that make his or her different and special among all. We are not bound to live in a society, but it is our need to live in a society as a social being. It is very natural to think about self satisfaction and development, but it is ignorance to think only about self. No one can be in peace and be developed unless and until his or her society or country will be developed. Thus, to think about the good of a society or country is also means to think about self. Society is like mirror which show nothing but our own reflection. If we smile, it will also show smiling face, and if we show anger, it will also show anger, nothing else than that. And the very truth is that the half part of this society is women. Women who are continuously giving their effort to prove her that besides be a housewife, she can be a good teacher, lawyer, engineer, doctor, police, pilot, writer, policeman, businesswoman, politician, social worker, labor, scientist, anything she wants. But still, in our society, it is called that women are weak. And it is said not only by illiterate persons but also by highly educated personalities. Still, there are persons in society who think themselves as an owner. They think they are giving freedom to women. Such attitude towards women are poisonous. As a rational being, we have many other additional responsibilities like to save our fellow creatures, save trees, most importantly to save environment. But if human cannot able to save human rights, then how can we save others? In present days, we are talking about to save animal rights, although women who are also humans still fighting for their rights. There are tremendous changes in the status of women, but those efforts are not enough. Still, there are women who are being treated as an animal even more badly than that. Besides all negativities, we should not forget that there were persons who fought for women's rights and upliftment. It was their effort that Shati Daho Pratha has been abolished, permanent widowhood has been abolished, child marriage is a crime in our society, though it is still continue in some part of our society.
Okay, can you please actually, your topics are how it has reference to this problem of the role of women for the development of Northeast. Have you related this issue to this current problem?
So actually, ma'am, I'm just talking about the status of women according to Vivekananda's.
Okay, that's good. I think you can just very brief.
Okay, sir. Um, Women have freedom of work that has actually my paper is not data oriented. Okay, so I'm just reading my conclusion part. Happiness and welfare of the human society is based on promoting freedom and equality of all individuals. Swami Vivekananda laid emphasis on social unity for socio-economic spiritual upliftment of all pupils. The desire to uplift others becomes well established only when lower self of an individual is erased and community consciousness promoted. The gender issue is more psychological than natural. If we want to do justice to the woman, we should change our outlook and attitude and treat the woman as dignified as man. According to Vedanta, one and the same conscious self is present in all beings. It is ignorance to think one is inferior to other. We should not think that we are man and woman, but only that we are human beings born to cherish and to help one another. Hence, it is through the spiritual upliftment that all kind of discrimination, inequality, and oppression can be removed, and we can build up a liberated, free society open to all, which will move forward through every individual's equal efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'd like to invite Ms. Tapushi Gordulu. And actually, I think co-authors, Birbai Basumatri. You will be presenting Basumatri?
Yes.
Okay, okay, good. His topic is quite interesting. Some unsung women crusaders for human rights and social justice in Northeast region.
Good morning to everyone. I am Birbai Basmotari, and this is my co-scholar from the Department of Political Science, Tripura University. In this seminar, we together written a seminar paper. The name is "Some Unsung Women Crusader for Human Rights and Social Justice in Northeast region." I mean, in Northeast India. So the topic was very lengthy. We have selected many. What? Okay. So we three written. So some. Yes. I gave you that time, right?
Yes, you have to say that folder name.
Okay, okay. That's seminar to you. Now, directly I will skip the introduction part. The objective is to incite the light on the role played by some selected women and women's organization as crusaders of human rights in Assam and Meghalaya. So, the next slide. In Assam, especially in Lower Assam, the present Borderland Territorial Area District, which is called as BTAD, can be a disturbed area since last 4 decades. There has been proliferation of many types of insurgent groups in said region, like National Democratic Front of Bodoland, Bodo Liberation Tigers, Komodapur Liberation Organization, Adivasi Cobra Militant of Assam, Birsa Command Forces, etc. These organizations have made Lower Assam region as conflict-affected area. The Bodos are the first settler in the region. They are recognized as scheduled tribe in the constitution. The rise of ethnicity for self-preservation of tribal community in the region brought some tension to the people living in the Lower Assam. The activities in the region done by the insurgent group brought conflict like ethnic conflict, patriarchal conflict, conflict between government forces and militant, etc. In such situation, the human rights in the region got violated. The human rights are threatened either by the activities of insurgency group and counter-insurgency by armed forces, like kidnapping, extortion, threatening by insurgent group, etc. The counter-insurgency of government militaries, the government security forces also sometimes involved again in violation of human rights due to the harassment and sometimes extrajudicial killing of the people. Many people have been tortured on suspicion of being insurgent group or linkment with the insurgent group. In that cases, during that situation, two Bodo organization, the All Bodo Women's Welfare Federation headed by former Minister of Assam, Mrs. Promila Rani Brahma, and the Oro Women Justice Forum, which is headed by Ms. Anjali Demari, are women and their organization in the said region to voice against the violation of human rights. These two organizations, women organizations, are played an essential role in protecting the human rights and bringing peace in the region. The principal objective was to establish equality between men and women, but during those problems, the problem of insurgency and counter-insurgency, they came forward to protect the human rights for the women as well as for the men also. This to go to the slide. These two are the leaders. There one is Promila Rani Brahma and the next one is Miss Anjali Dimari. These two women are the leader. They have done during the APSU movement, the Bodo women and men had faced several atrocities on the hands of security personnel deployed mainly by the APSPA, where there are many incidents of violation of human rights. During that time, the ABO, All Bodo Women Welfare Federation, campaigned for the release of innocent youth from security personnel. Above generally measured like protest march, silent march, all those things. According to some members, I mean the above members, I have talked directly telephonic conversation. In 1988, 2012, Miss Helena Bosumutari, a 15 years old, was brutally shot dead by some illegal activities done by some police. While she was along with some women trying to prevent the arrest of 8 innocent Bodo villagers by the Assam Police Task Force. In January 1998, also during the Bumka gang rape, you search it in Google, you will get available. It is available data in the Google also. The above were protesting such a heinous activities. It was due to the effort of above that the members, the rape victim, got the compensation, all those things. And recently in 2014, the protest rally of Bodo Women Welfare Federation against the brutal killing of 16 years old, name is Priya Busumudari in Serang district. And it is in Seleka, in a village, which is killed by NDFB, National Democratic Front of Bodoland as faction. It is a militant organization of that region. And such seminars, some kind of seminars and awareness program against the women, for the women to protect their human rights, as well as for the upliftment of the social and economics of the women, as well as to encourage the young generation not to go to the militant organization, not to go to the illegal act, not to do the illegal activities. All those seminar organizing programs, awareness program were taken or done by these two organizations. At present, the above they are doing some activities for the sustainable peace development, primarily through capacity building, livelihood generation mission, and for the economic empowerment. No? They have established some self-help group and help the women for self-independent financially, or to make the people busy in some other works, all those things. And sometimes, okay, uh, presently they observe a day, that is anti-liquor day on 4th April every year, to stop the men to drink the liquor, all those things. Sometimes they go to the village and they break the liquor bottles, all those things, and like that. That's all. Thank you. Topic was very long and many more points were there, but I think it is not. These are all sometimes and beautiful about.
Specialist from Assam background is Professor Gomi. You please be
I'm Polly Walklin from Department of Women's Affairs.
Polly Gomi.
Walklin.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Yes, madam.
Actually, it's a very wonderful paper, and I happen to know both of them very closely because we work together.
Yes.
And maybe you can do case studies of these two women. How did they do it? And what are the contributions that will make it more impactful as a
Okay.
paper. Otherwise, it is like a bio.
Hmm.
So, what did you do? What are the changes did you bring in? That would means with the methodology we are working.
Okay. So, madam, in this very short period, we have collected some secondary data
You
only.
can talk
And
to them. They are very friendly.
yes.
You can interview them. And maybe those people who are, because they are the heroes for the Bodo women, not
Yes,
just
yes,
Bodo
yes.
women, but Bodo community as a whole.
Yes.
But who are the other women who are also
They were
associate with them, interview them, bring it to the highlight. And because they are already known, they are not unsung.
Yes.
But the unsung ones are those who are working with them but under the shadow.
They are well recognized.
Yeah. They are very well recognized.
Okay.
She is the minister also.
Answer the word on you is
Meghalaya. Actually, we have 3 case studies. One for Tiruvalla Rabha.
Tiruvalla Rabha, she is also Padma Shri now.
Yeah, and we talk about some women from Meghalaya. Some related to.
For Agnes Kershing, I think many of them they have not known about her since she's protecting the illegal school mining in Meghalaya, where she has done many lot of issues, which also raised
Hasina
concern.
Kharbe is there.
Yes, and Sini Karbi, and even Agnes.
She's working for, Hasina Kharbe is working for human trafficking, and she's using them for social entrepreneurships. So those something which people don't know.
Yes, ma'am. And also, what happened in Meghalaya was when she got attacked, the 2 activists, when they got attacked by the mob itself, until now also they didn't get justice. So those are things which let people to know about them, what is exactly happening. So they are the women who bring social justice to the people. They from them only maybe the youngsters will get
Lots of encouragement.
lots of encourage, and also the doings in society make us
Then you
to
can
do the
write
well-being.
heroes and unsung heroes. Then it will become more appropriate with the topic because these are very important.
All
Take
of them are from that area.
No, one from Meghalaya
Yes,
and from
Yes.
Assam. Maybe you can take from Tripura, you can take from few states, make it a bit northeast. That would be very nice.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, I invite Dr. Arjun to Calcutta College and very important part on female workforce participation in India with special reference to Northeast areas.
To and from here.
So good morning to one and all. I'm here, Dr. Arjun Gupta, to present the paper Female Workforce Participation in India with a special reference to Northeast region. World Economic Forum measures this disparity between the women and men in terms of 4 parameters. These are economic participation and opportunity, educational attainment, health and survival, and political empowerment.
Gurjinda, if you don't mind, can you come here? Because webcasting is there and camera is that corner and every
I just
background is
want
coming.
to. I just want to.
If he can handle.
Yeah, I just want.
Kiran is there, he will handle.
I just want to handle this.
Okay. Actually, webcasting is
Yeah.
it coming in your back. So most of the paper.
So can I present here? In this?
No.
Okay, I have no problem. I will see
Remote is not.
No, no.
Yes.
Sir, it's okay. Camera is not functioning properly.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. So
Hand mic,
there are a lot of existing literatures on the issue, and this one of the study expressed that the power over economic resource and participation in decision making is making women more confident, and that is the women empowerment in true sense. Different studies are there, and if we look at the study conducted in the year 2021, it shows that comparatively higher educated married women in the age group of 30 to 59 are predominantly facing stagnation and deterioration in their labor force participation rate. Now, there are a lot of studies, but data studies in this issue relating to the Northeast region. So the objectives of my study is to identify the level of gender gap disparity between the female and male in India in comparison with the BRICS countries. The second one is to analyze how far Indian women are lagging behind in terms of workforce participation. And the last one is to compare the level of workforce participation in the Northeast region with the national level. The methodology encompasses an analysis of secondary data published in different websites and reports. To analyze the data, table, graphs, and other statistical tool is used. Now, if we look at this table, it shows that the condition of India in terms of women participation in different parameters, that is educational attainment, economic participation and opportunity, health and survival, and political empowerment. It's a very poor, except political empowerment, where the India ranks 51. In other cases, the ranks are very poor, 114, 151, 155 respectively, and the overall ranking is 140, which is frustrating. Now, if we look at the ratio, that is gender gap disparity, which shows that in case of economic participation and opportunity, only 3 female persons against 10 male persons in the workplace, which is a matter of concern. But although educational attainment and health survival, the ratio is very good, 9 female persons against every 10 male persons. Now, I would like to concern with the issue of economic participation and opportunity gap. These also consist of 3 parts: the participation gap, the remuneration gap, and the advancement gap. If we look at the participation gap, this considers that nothing but about the ratio between the women and men in labor force participation rate. The female participation rate of India has dropped for a long period of time. It's not for India, it's the condition of the world. For last 2 decades, the women participation in the workforce is declining greatly. Now, if we look at the BRICS countries, we'll see that India is at lower position for a long period of time, especially up to the year 2014. Where China stands first, where the ratio is 68 to 64% for a long period of time. Now, this is India in the year 2020 to 21. India ratio is 0.39, that is 4 female persons in the workplace for every 10 male persons. If we look at the India state-wise, we'll see that Himachal Pradesh stands first, where 8 women are working in the workplace against every 10 male persons. Second, followed by Sikkim, the second position, and the last one is the Bihar, the report of the year 2020. Now, I have arranged in this way the northeastern countries, the Sikkim, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, Assam, where the northeastern region, the participation ratio is 0.46, that is 50% of the male persons are working in the workplace, and which is obviously higher than the all over Indian ratio, which is 0.39. This is very good for the northeastern region, except Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, and Assam, where the ratio is less than that of the national ratio. Now, this shows that when any region's participation ratio is more than that of the national ratio, actually it starts from the year 2011 or 2014. From that point, the participation ratio of any region is more than that of the national ratio. And finally, we have tried to correlate or find a reason behind that. Actually, in northeastern case, the literacy rate is also higher than that of the national level. So we have thought that whether this literacy rate is working or not, and we have run the regression model, but the result is insignificant. It means that literacy is not influencing the participation ratio. Now, what else? Maybe the tribal women's participation in the agriculture is the main factor for that. It's the matter to study in future. So, to conclude, the scenario of female workforce participation in India is alarming comparison to the BRICS countries. The second one is the workforce participation in the Northeast region is substantially more than that of national level, but the average literacy rate in the although the literacy rate in the any region is not influencing the female workforce participation statistically. The findings of the study suggest that governments of any states should generate more education-based job opportunities to enhance the female workforce participation in near future. And finally, there is no substitute to women empowerment if we have to bring social equality in the country. If women are unhappy, individual homes, society, and the nation will not prosper, quote and unquote. This is by Pratibha Patil, former President of India. And the references are this. With this, I would like to conclude here. Thank you. Thank you so much, madam.
I am so convinced.
Thank you. Please, questions from all of you, please, and also other scholars, participants, you are requested to raise some question or queries. This is very important topic.
Can I
Yes,
just
go
add
ahead.
certain
I'll
things?
try.
Because recently we did a study with US Consulate Kolkata and our department, and we were asked to look why the participation of women in the labor force has gone down.
Right.
So we could do a qualitative study only with the organized sector.
Okay.
So when we did, there are various things that emerged. And the first and the primary cause of women dropping out from their jobs was childcare.
Okay.
So childcare in Assam, we did it in Assam and West Bengal. So childcare happened to be one of the major cause for women dropping out from the organized sector.
Got it.
And childcare and
One of the main reasons for dropping out.
Domestic
Yeah.
responsibilities.
Childcare, because newly employed, they are married, they have children, and another is that maternity leave is fine, it's intense, but childcare leave is very dicey. It differs from institute to institute, and they have modified according to their
And
own
again
country.
also, madam, what I am telling you, this maternity benefit to home, only to the organized sector.
Yeah,
Right.
So,
and the unorganized sector, we are absolutely
Yeah.
clueless.
Right.
So these are from, that's why I said it's only about the organized
Organized
sector.
sector.
And another thing is that sexual harassment in the workplace. So that also happens to be one of the major cause for women dropping out.
Yeah.
In Assam and
Different
West,
parameters.
and we are absolutely clueless of the unorganized sector.
Right.
So these data that you have taken, I think you have
Right.
taken from World Economic
Yeah.
Forum Global Gap Index. And India's performance is worst.
Worst.
And it is declining.
Yes.
Only it is doing good because of political participation.
Yeah, ma'am. That's it. That's the good
And if
news
you-
for the women.
And if you look at the
But ma'am, it can be analyzed from two perspectives. You see although it is the rank is very good, political 51, but you see this is the
for a particular participant case also, after 2019, when cabinet
Yes.
ranking of
Reservation.
dropped.
now again I have something
see
very
this is the
skeptical.
ratio, ma'am. Political empowerment.
Yeah,
Rank is good, but participation is 0.276.
but it is doing good
Yeah,
because it's 50.
in global respect.
And political participation, even if you have a very critical look at who are the women who are in the politics, they are related to somebody's wife,
Yes,
somebody's
yes.
sister, somebody's niece. So are the grassroots people really into politics?
Yeah.
So those I think we need to highlight as
Yeah.
evaluations. And maybe you can some way say that the unorganized sector needs to be looked upon very well. Now another major project is coming from US Consulate where we'll be working on unorganized sector. What happens to women?
Yes.
More than 80% of women are engaged in unorganized sector. Only 10% in organized sector. And there is also a drop of this 10% in the organized sector, which is something very alarming.
Thank you very much. So I like to invite Shukamti. Shukamti Rai of Economic Department. Role of empowerment for development of women in Northeast India. So within 5
এই
minutes.
ইনফরমেশন গুলি গতকালকে আমাদের প্রেজেন্টেশন আছে
Okay, your presentation.
It's there in the website.
yes ma'am PIB also publishing this kind of data
You look for
বলুন না
এই শাওনি শাওনি সুকান্তের করে চলে আর নাই তো তুমি
Good morning, one and all. Myself, Shukanti Roy, Department of Economics, Tripura University. Here I am presenting my paper, which entitled Rule of Empowerment for Development of Women in Northeast India.
Next slide.
Women are the first child of a teacher. They take civilization forward. The women play a different role in society, but the society always wants to see them as a responsible mother, sister, daughter, in-law, etc. Not more than that. They are working in the job of homemaking all days over the years, but the contribution of service is not even counted and neglected also. Indian society is a male-dominated, yet gender discrimination is customized habitually. Women are gender handicapped in the patriarchal society, whereas in every corner of the society, women are facing threats of their lives, health, well-being, and they are suppressed by any means and exploited everywhere. In India, they are facing violence, discrimination, sexual abuse, and whatnot. As a result, they are in vulnerable condition. They are treated as a most lagged behind, deprived, and neglected section of the society. Though the Constitution of India is based on the principle of liberty, fraternity, equality, and justice for all its citizens, but the affirmations are only in the constitution, not in practice. Gender-related inequalities often intensify the effects of poverty, because poverty and disempowerment generally go hand in hand. The various social scientists like Nobel laureate Duflo has proved that development itself can bring about women's empowerment, and both have bicausal relationship. Next slide. Next. In spite of various welfare-related activities for women, the situation of women is in the country is not very sound. Discrimination and differentiation hinders in all steps of development in their life. India holds 131st rank worldwide in terms of Human Development Index in 2020, and in the year 2019, the rank was 129, which means in case of Human Development Index, we are degrading. India ranks 140 global gender gap index among the 156 countries in the World Economic Forum, and the previous ranks was 108 in 2018, and in 2010 the rank is 111. The value of the value of gender gap index is 0.488, which with rank 123rd, means 48.8% of women are facing inequality with men in the country. And in the year 2019 and 2010, the rank was 122. Women are the agents of development of any country or society, and empowered women become agents of their own development. Inequality among male and female is the utmost concern of any society, so that they can exercise choices or set their own agenda and become strong enough to meet hand on hand and alter their subordinate position in society. Empowerment basically means power within and power with. Northeast is a part of mainstream India. Northeast of India consists of 8 states, namely Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, and Tripura. Out of the total population of India, Northeast consists 3.76% of the population, and among the states of the region, 48.86% are female population, which is nearly half of the total. The empowerment to empower the women and improve their condition in India, the region needs special attention, because Northeast is a part of special category states and also part of mainstream India. The condition of women improves more than that of men with development, which is quoted by Esther Duflo. Objective of the study is the study aims to ascertain the different dimensions of measurement of empowering women with the help of different literatures, and the study also observes the role of the dimensions for development and empowerment in India and Northeast. The study is purely based on descriptive in nature. From the various literature survey, it is found that in case of complete measurement of women empowerment, there are 7 dimensions that are very much important, which are social, economic, political, educational, health or physical, legal, and psychological. Rule of 7 dimensions for complete measurement of women empowerment and development are social empowerment. Social empowerment addresses social stereotypes like devaluation of women's roles as mother or careers, restrictions on women's mobility, engagement in social wars, freedom to involve in any socio-cultural organization, freedom and mobility of inside or outside the locality, freedom to speak, exposure in social media, basic sanitation and drinking water facility, autonomy in major and minor decision making for household or children, etc., helps to empower women socially. In case of economic empowerment, the approach includes women are subordinate due to lack of economic power, power over resources, poverty or land on their name, freedom to work outside the home, headship of the family, economic decision making power, expanding own income or freedom to spend counterparts' income is very much lacking in condition. It is crucial to focus on improving women control over material resources and strengthening economic security of women. In case of political empowerment, it includes vote to freedom to give an opinion, freedom to vote, freedom to give an opinion, access to local and national governance, consisting in election, decision-making power, participation, and political awareness. Women should be empowered politically to get independent, to express and make decisions on their own choice. In case of, it is very remarkable that in case of uh, uh, the number of women MPs in the Rajya Sabha is only 27 out of 230, just over 10% over the House. This brings the tally of women in Parliament to 108. There are 81 women in the 17th Lok Sabha. But the women need some reservation because the political presence of women in society is very desired. The Women's Reservation Bill, which is a reservation of 33% seats in Lok Sabha, was initially introduced in the Parliament of September 2000. September 12, 1996. But after the 26 years also, not yet passed. To remove the women's problem, the disparity in the society, female participation in politics is very much important. In case of in Northeast, only 4 members are there in the Rajya Sabha and in Lok Sabha. And the names are. Uh, the figure shows the gender-based position in political participation in India. From this figure, it is.
Now, what about women's presentation in the Northeast? In MP, how many MPs are there? How many MLAs are there?
But I have not incorporated them. Just I have MP and
MP including Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha.
Rajya Sabha seats of women. Just I have
27 women members of Rajya Sabha,
Rajya
only
Sabha.
one
I have
member.
not interpreted that one. Northeast, total Northeast.
Last step.
Gender-based position in political participation, it is very much clear that in case of India, males winning are very much high from female winning members. In case of educational empowerment, educational empowerment in education indicates access to education access to women in education, supporting female education and understanding the need of it, decision making power for their educational career or their child's education, educational freedom. Access of education can bring about changes in cognitive ability, which is necessary to women's capability to question, to reflect on, and to act on the condition of their own.
So, what is your conclusion of the session?
The table shows the status of literacy in Northeast. In case of Northeast, Mizoram securing the highest position, and Arunachal Pradesh are least. Mizoram securing third rank in the in India. Uh, next, next. Uh, sex ratio, uh, from the figure, it is clearly visible that in the blue bar shows the census sex ratio of census report 2011, and the red one is from the census report 2001. From the, it is clearly visible that in case of sex ratio, uh, uh, it is increasing drastically. Um, um, uh, le- uh, next. Women should be empowered legally. It is very much important for all spheres of their life, because legal education or awareness helps to understand what to do when they face or feel herself or any other woman discomforting situation. Legal indicators included with awareness about act or law related to women, awareness about Yojana or schemes related to women and girls.
Legal empowerment, all these are your observations should be your suggestion. But what are the practical status of legal empowerment? Any case studies there?
No, ma'am.
This is in general, no, just a comment or observation. But what are the actual status of awareness? That should be the study of your paper. That should be some primary document.
Actually, in case of legal awareness, in my knowledge, I don't have any secondary data, and in physical empowerment also.
So there's so many legal awareness according to the state legislative, state legal awareness.
There are some.
What are its impact? Last time, actually, 97 it was introduced. Bound in Tripura, 2001 onwards, lots of legal awareness. But what are these effects? These general comment actually should not be in a research article. So just proceed. This is general comment. No? It should be there, that should be there. But what are the practical use of this paper? So you have, okay, next you proceed.
The table and table 4 shows the crime against women and chart sheeting rates. From that, it is visible that Mizoram has the highest chart sheeting rate, but which has less rate of total crime against women. And in case of Assam, the total crime against women is very high, but they are very less in chart sheeting rate. In case of crime against women, Assam are getting highest position in number, which is from national crime division. To cover all the necessary measures, it's important to get a complete picture of women, where they are lag behind and need improvement and empowerment. Complete measure of empowerment will help to eradicate hindrance from the women in all spheres of their life and bring development through empowerment and vice versa. Because of the mainstream and special category states of India, Northeast should get more attention, as health and education plays vital role in creating human capital. So women should be health and educationally empowered first to achieve the equality in all spheres of their life. The region have abundantly available human resources. Creating more employment opportunities and improving employability could play an essential role in propelling economic growth and forecasting holistic development in the region. For politically and legally, improving women awareness for the same is prerequisite. This will be help in social and psychological independence for complete empowerment. In case of multidimensional goal, gender inequality and women empowerment is getting third goal, and in case of sustainable development, the goal is fifth, which means in globally.
So I would like to invite interaction. I would like to invite questions and queries from your side. Participants.
from international spending a
Participants, only Dr. Polly used
I was partially hearing her and I was partially filling up the document. But what I feel, Northeast is very unique in terms of political participation because many of the portion of Northeast are under sixth schedule, where you can talk about the so-called local self-governance system, and where in many parts of Northeast they have the local self-governance system. They are not under panchayat. So what is the participation of women there? That will bring it more unique because our population is less. That's why representation of uh, politicians in the Rajya Sabha or in Lok Sabha is less. So
but
there we do not have much say. But what about the local self-governance? Meghalaya is the only matrilineal state in the entire country. But there they have the Darbar. In the Darbar there is no place for women. I think I'm correct. There is a women Khasi girl here. I'm sure she's Khasi. In Darbar there is no place for women. So what happens to women's voices? What happens to Nagaland?
still, I think in any area they have not been implemented.
No, in Nagaland, they are not allowed to participate in decision making part. We consider the Northeast women to be empowered, but what about political empowerment in the local level, in panchayat?
Still in Nagaland, Mizoram, I think they are like
Because
yes, implementation.
because it's under sixth schedule. In sixth schedule, they have the whole local self-governance system, and in the local self-governance system, women are not in the decision making body. So who will decide for women? It's the men leaders who decide for women. So those arguments you can bring it up in your working day. I think they are a big
Actually, for that, women political empowerment is
very much important.
And also, what I like to draw your attention regarding the gender budgeting. Already policy decision was there long back, but what is the status? Not even 50% of the departments they don't implement this.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So last paper because Devajyoti.
Before the last paper, I would like to call Dr. Indranil Bhomik. Please come on the dais. Better late than never. Na?
Okay.
Last but not least, so I would like to request Rajesh Chatterjee to felicitate Professor Indranil Bhomik. In the mean between, I would like to inform you that Honorable Minister Sri Kumari Pratima Bhomik is on the way. Another 5-10 minutes you will reach. So we have tea arrangement, but I hope we may not be able to go for tea now. It was scheduled, but at least one paper, if you could finish in another 7 minutes. Yeah, that's what I mean. 7 minutes. If we could finish it by 7 minutes, then we can go for next session only. Thank you.
Three presenter absent. Devashish Chapama, Devajyoti Gupta.
Rimki Gormon.
Rinki Gormon. They are absent.
How many Bhattacharya?
She is present. Shravani Bhattacharya.
Shravani, please. You take 5 minutes, sure, and then 2 minutes for introduction. We have 7 minutes of time.
নামটা কিনা জিজ্ঞেস করুন
11
Good morning all.
Myself, Shravani Bhattacharya, Department of Rural Studies, Tripura University. My presentation topic is Women Empowerment and its impact on livelihood. As you all know that women empowerment is empowering the women to take their own decisions for their personal development as well as social development. Women empowerment refers to educating women to helping them to have an identity of their own. The objective of the study is to examine the status of women of the northeastern region which can make them socio-economically self-reliant in terms of MSME sector and SHG group of the region. The study has been conducted with the help of secondary data collected from different sources such as Department of Industries and Commerce, Government of Tripura, Agartala, Uddokadhar database for MSME part, various published research articles, government document, MIS, etc. From this slide, we can see the gender-wise ownership of MSME in India, Northeast, and Tripura. In overall scenario, female ownership percentage of Northeast and Tripura are higher than that of India, a positive social indication. This means that females in Northeast as well as Tripura are more self-sufficient and involved in business. If the Ministry of MSME tries to find out the factors behind this, then these findings can be exploited to promote female participation in their entrepreneurship. In this slide, we can see that state-wise comparison of gender-wise ownership ratio as compared to sex ratio. In this above figure, we defined a new parameter gender-wise ownership ratio, which is the number of female entrepreneurs per 1,000 male entrepreneurs. From the data in the figure, we can discover that Northeast has higher gender-wise ownership ratio than the major Indian states, and Meghalaya has almost equal gender-wise ownership ratio to its sex ratio. This is a positive social indication. It indicates that females in Northeast are more self-sufficient and involved in business. Next, household with annual income range of SAG in northeastern state of Tripura, Manipur, Nagaland, and Sikkim. From the above table, we can observe that according to survey, Nagaland holds the highest position in annual income range. Manipur holds the second highest range, and Tripura holds the lowest range. Only in case of household survey till date 28/4/2022, Tripura holds the highest coverage, while Nagaland is the lowest. The rest of the northeast eastern states like Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, and Meghalaya have not yet put their information in the MIS. Here are some success stories of the SHG members from Tripura. Named Sandhya Rani Devarma. She belongs to Salka SHG. Her activity undertaken is mushroom and repairing of their houses. After their joining in this SHG group, her income 1,40,200 per year. Next, Ranjoli Sinha. She belongs to Pragati SHG. Her activity undertaken mushroom cultivation and pottery and handloom. After joining this SHG group, she earned approx 12,000 to 15,000 per month. Next, Rina Rani Das. She belongs to Pushpanjali SHG. Her activity, she is working as a bank shaki. After joining this group, recently she earned approx 7,000 to 9,000 per month. And last, Parul Das, she belongs to Kamakhya SHG. She is a very well-known face as Krishi Shakhi. After joining this self-help group, she earned 15,000 per month. The benefit of the study is women participation status can be beneficial during policy making and implementation regarding this sector. This can be helpful in finding the various difficulties faced by the women in various sectors of Northeast, especially Tripura. Further, this matter can be brought to the attention to concerned authorities. Thank
Okay, we would like to open up the floor for queries. You can hear me now without mic also at the back. Yes. So, We made a presentation about the status of MSME and women entrepreneurs. So any queries, any clarifications, any doubts from any one of you, she'll be happy to respond.
Success stories, at least one or two you can mention.
You can, and she has
Yes,
mentioned four
mentioned.
case studies. Can you elaborate on them?
Maybe the social.
So, among these four, whom do you consider to be most successful? According to your option, and you have to tell us why.
May I add one more thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Like, what are the constraints they face and how did they overcome it? Social
Yes.
constraints or
My
constraints.
question.
Did you interview them?
No,
Okay.
secondary.
Then it will be difficult.
Okay. Oh, these are based on secondary.
Secondary.
And they are still now, no? They are,
Yes.
but on the basis of which you selected these four.
These are ma'am some success stories which
Success story you came to know secondary social from what?
from TLM some cluster coordinators they give me this success story.
Okay, I think that is done. Fine. So we wind up, madam. Thank you, Shami. We can close up the program.
আস্তে আস্তে তাড়াহুড়ো করি বস আস্তে আস্তে আসতে
আমরা চাইতে
Decorum. You have to have some minimum decorum. These are part of growing. These are part of growing, no?
ওনাকে তো বলা হয়েছে যে আমাদের এটা
Don't. Being enthusiastic is good, but over enthusiasm kills. Number one. Huh? One more. Sorry, না টেনশন আছে এই টেনশনটা কন্ট্রোল করো বড় হচ্ছে তো বড় হচ্ছে কন্ট্রোল করতে হয়
আমাদের সেশনটা শেষ হলে এমনও বলা হয়েছিল যে উনি এসে
আসেন